Hello there again on the Footballers Football Show this week, a special edition to mark the sad passing of Billy Bremner, Norman Hunter, Terry Cooper and Peter Lorimer, who we think together, between them, played for Leeds over 1,700 times, remembering the outstanding captain of that Leeds United team, Billy Bremner. Where did the closeness that you all talk about start from?
I think from the manager. He was ahead of his time, the manager, I think, and he insisted on no cliques, that everybody got on well together.
But you can't just make that happen, Terry, can you?
Well,
what was it about you?
I think you can lead players to how you want to think, and he had this vision that it was going to. He called it his family. It was a family, and like I think we were all there, probably 12 years minimum, and like I always thought, every other club would be run like Leeds. I went to play for Big Jack at Middlesbrough and got the shock of my life. Compared to how Leeds was run, I got the shock of my life, and Middlesbrough was well run, but nothing like Leeds. I mean, I got the shock of my life when I left.
A lot of us were brought up together. Like I said, when I went to Leeds, Billy was at Diggs then, and then we moved up to Eastleigh Road, and TC was in there. Then that was Peter's first Diggs. So overall, the length of time we were all together, and we all got thrown in the team together, didn't we? And you get a lot that way, Peter. You know,
I mean, Revy picked he used to pick the landladies, very strict. He'd go around and see, was this a nice homely woman that'll look after the boys like they've been looked after at home. I mean, I can remember when he came for me to sign for Leeds, there was 36 clubs at that time wanted to sign me. I'd had a good run for Scotland schoolboys, and he impressed on my mum and dad how well I would be looked after at that club, by him, by his wife, and by the rest of the staff. And it's very easy to say things like that when you're trying to impress on a young boy, but he certainly did it. And when I came there, he never let me down in any way, or my family, which was tremendous.
Yeah. What did all this closeness and camaraderie do for you as a team?
Well, I was talking to one of the players we'd played against, I think it was Bawley, and he said that the trouble with Leeds is if you pick the fight with one, you'd pick the fight with all 11.
That's what Alan Ball said.
I'm not sure it was Bawley. It was one of the great players when we were having a chat around the table. And it was true, because, you know, if somebody went after him straight away, everybody'd say, hey, over there, and they knew they had a fight, so therefore we didn't get too much trouble from other teams when they went away. And abroad it was a great help, because as you know, a lot of players will chuck it if the things are not going properly, but that was one of the trouble. Nobody could force these out of the game in that way.
We could do whatever anybody wanted to do. If they wanted to play it rough, we could play it rough, and if they wanted to play, we could play in all. And a combination doesn't make a bad side, does it?
Can I ask you, did Revy say that you have to win the fight before you can win the football match?
Do you know, people have said this to me at these dinners and different things. Did you used to do tackling and everything? I can never ever remember him saying that. I think it was just the character and the group of lads that were there, that were together. And even now, if you play any of them in any sport, golf or whatever it is, they've still got this will to win, and that they're not going to get beat. And there was a tremendous amount of them in the team that had that spirit, wasn't it?
About 17.
Yeah.
All the squads, not just 11, there was 17.
Yeah.
But I can remember playing the five-a-side on a Friday before a big game, and we'd probably play for 15, 20 minutes, short and sharp. But you wanted to win that game. Yeah. And we used to play one touch, two touches, unbelievable. Yeah. And I can remember Revy stood on the side with Les Cochran when we were playing one touch, which was difficult. I can remember him going in raptures at some of the play and the movement. He used to love it when we were on, everybody was on song playing one touch. You could hear him on the street. Oh God!
Yeah. Was it never the case, Peter, that you did have this sort of "it's us against the world" mentality?
Oh. Yeah, we got that. Revy used to use that a lot, especially when we came down to London. At that particular time, the North was running the game. Liverpool and Leeds and Man U. They were winning everything, and especially Leeds, we were hated in the capital. And he used to use did you see what the journalists have been saying about you? He used to use that to get us up, and it certainly worked. I mean, we used to go out and bombard teams for the first 20 minutes, completely go at them and try and knock them straight off their feet and get in front. And then once we got in front, as everybody knew, when Leeds were in front, you could go home, you know, the game was over.
we could have made it easier for ourselves, because Peter said we could get in front, but then for some reason, and it wasn't coached or practiced, for some reason, we just shut up shop then, didn't we? And we'd win the game 1-0. Yeah. Where we probably, if we'd have played the way we did the first 20 minutes, we could have gone on and probably won it a lot easier.
Would you accept, Norman, therefore, that you were not as well liked by the country at large as you deserve to be. Is that your view?
I think in many respects we deserved not to be liked because we were a hard physical side, but we were a great side. We were a great side. I think when Sunderland beat us in the Cup in '73, I think the whole country rejoiced.
Delighted, yeah.
Delighted. But
think,
that we created that in our own way, and so did the gaffer. But we didn't mind because we were cocooned in that, and that was our way of playing. He was the gaffer. He was my pal, everybody, and we went out for each other.
No, I mean, Manchester United are suffering the same now.
Yeah,
Everybody hates Manchester United. Why? Because they're successful. Fergie's got them working fantastic. They're a great side. And when you're a pro, you sit back and you admire them. I admire Manchester United at the moment.
Yeah.
I know to a Leeds fan that is sacrilege to say that, but at the moment we must accept that Manchester United are the best side in the country. And they're hated by everybody. And I think that's part of being the best, that you're not going to be liked, because we are a country of the underdog.
But it changes. See, the Leeds image hasn't changed, has it? Even now, if you ask anybody. Well, Howard Wilkinson slightly changed it, but if you ask anybody about our era, the first thing they'll say is dirty Leeds.
Yeah, but we were, because, I mean, who apart from yourself and and Paul Reaney, I mean, you know, Eddie Gray, Mickey Jones, we never kicked any.
No.
We'd stand this corner, but
that's why I'm asking the question, you see.
We weren't.
Because it seems to isolate one part of what you were as a team. The other part, people say dirty side. People also say, it's only fair to point out, they say cynical side.
Well, I disagree with that, because, like, I've never seen him kick anybody on purpose. I've seen him get tight with people and but not go over the top and you know, breaking tackles like that. And yet he got this reputation of bite your legs. But that's great, because they were beat before they played against him, which was great for us.
Yeah, but no, it was the same in training. Norman was that was his game, you know. And in training he was in, and he was hard. You knew how he was going to be. That was his game. He couldn't change his game. That was his game. That's what he was best at. And many a time in training, you know, he'd give you a whack, and you'd look at him and he'd say, "Sorry, pal, accident." And half the time it might have been an accident, but you had to accept it. That's how he was.
But that was we had people in the team who were battlers, because you can't always go out in a game of football and do exactly as you wish. You have to get out there and you have to win the battle, and we had to do that. Once we did that, then we could play though. That's one thing, if anything, slightly annoys me. We were never given the recognition for the team we were and the players that were in that team. Because there was world-class players in that team, you know. World-class.
Billy Bremner and his leadership, did Billy set the tone?
He was tough enough in his own way, but he didn't have to. We set our stall out on the game. We went out and we played, and we knew that we were going to fight for every ball. And it was never coached in this, and I can never ever remember Don Revie ever telling us to go do that. Yeah. But it was just within us. And I think, like Man United now, they're up there, but you can see the players there working. They're working. It's within the individual.
Well, why is it then that people still look back to that Leeds side and say they set a standard that other teams have followed, but they set a standard which was new? Was it new, Terry, to be that determined to win, to push it to the limits if necessary? Was that new?
I think I was very lucky to play in such a talented team, and we probably had 17 lads there as a squad, where they were all determined. And you don't get that very often, where Don Revie was lucky. I mean, it happened for him, where he got 17 players and they all were desperate to win. And we just stood as corner. We wouldn't be messed about.
I think the thing is, nowadays it's very difficult for him to build a team like that, because none of our players wanted to leave. But as we know, unfortunately, nowadays the players, you know, the agents are in and they want to be moving them on here and everywhere. I don't think you could ever build that nowadays, what we built at Leeds, you know, where players would be together for 12, 13 years and totally loved being there, enjoyed being there, because nobody wanted to go.
I think Man United are as close as they are now, with all these kids coming through the ranks and the goodbye here and there.
Yeah. Just to skip right forward to the modern day, but it is interesting because George Graham has taken over at Leeds. Do you feel that Graham had something like that in his best years at Arsenal?
Yeah, definitely. Because they all came through together.
Yeah.
They're all still...
Same as it was with you.
The back four still there, isn't it? But George bought he brought them in, did he?
Yes, he did. In most cases.
He bought them, where I think there was about 8 or 9 of us, came through the ground staff and all became internationals and all grew up together.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's luck. You need
And
it.
I think you need that. I think you need that as much now as you do where somebody cares for the club that much that you go out and die for them. And I think that's, like we're saying about Man United, I think they've got that. They've got players and their youngsters come through the ranks.
True.
You don't know anything else. I never knew anything else in the three of us but Leeds United and Don Revie's ways.
But I've noticed since George came to the club, he's put that sort of old-fashioned management type back where he runs the club, he's the organiser, he gets things going, and he gets everybody involved in things, and they certainly look a lot happier and more settled. And I mean, they're not the best side in the world at the moment. I think everybody knows they need 2 or 3 players, but what George has done, he has got a group of players playing to the top of their ability. And with his organisation, they're getting results, and they're 4th, 5th in the league, which is super.
Oh, it's superb.
Are you proud, just to close this part, are you proud, Terry, of the way in which people do remember how determined, dogged, aggressive Leeds could be? Are you proud of that? Well, we all know you could play.
Yeah, but I'm working at Southampton now. You're trying to get that through to the players there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you've got to earn the right to be able to play. And I would believe every manager in the Premiership, before they got, you've got to earn the right to play football.
Just before, did you go too far on occasion?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do. We bent the rules a little bit, and but who doesn't? And I think Don Revie got absolutely slated for certain things, but now it's commonplace in the game. And as TC said, he was a little bit ahead of his time, and we used to get, for keeping the ball, keeping the ball in the corner ball. Everybody in it does it now.
Yes.
We got absolutely slaughtered for doing that with 2 minutes to go, didn't we? Leeds this, the cynical, the this, spoiling the game. But you weren't. You had your points, and you were going to keep on to them.
Thank you. I did say at the top of the show it was a revolution that took place at Elland Road, and it was a revolution in English football as well. When we come back from this in the last part, we'll remember further Billy Bremner's part in that revolution.